is CTV News.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. A provincial plan to invest $3 billion into Ontario jails outside of Windsor could help here. The province is exploring what it would take to reopen the Brantford jail and safely operate it. If the project proceeds, it could add 125 beds to the provincial corrections system. The ministry tells CTV News that would help ease overcrowding at the Southwest Detention Centre. Province-wide, the Ford government wants to increase corrections bed capacity by more than 2,400 new beds. A 13-year-old boy is facing assault charges tonight after a 16-year-old was injured early this morning. Police say it happened around 2:30 a.m. when a fight started inside a home on Jefferson Boulevard, and it led to a stabbing outside. The 16-year-old received serious but non-life-threatening injuries. The 13-year-old, who knows the victim, was arrested a short time later. Unrelated, 3 people suffered smoke inhalation as a result of this house fire. It happened at Giles and Marintet around 7:30 this morning. Crews were able to knock the fire down quickly within 30 minutes of the first call. Fire officials say the fire started in the kitchen and is considered accidental. The victims were taken to hospital, but they have since been released. Police have been kept busy lately responding to collisions at the long-time ongoing rebuilding of Highway 3 through Kingsville. CTV's Sanjay Moru has the story.
At Highway 3 and Division Road, a left turn left this driver wondering what to do next. It's the kind of confusion and poor driver behavior residents say they're seeing while this intersection is under construction.
You get people tailgating and cutting in front of you and passing you, and I think it's very dangerous.
There had been 2 in the matter of 2 days when I reached out to the county and said, hey, I know this is a provincial highway, but what can we do about making it more safe? And they contacted the MTO right away. And in that same day, there was a 3rd accident.
A motorcycle collision on July 31st, followed by a second 2-vehicle collision on August 3rd, leading to a 32-year-old Windsor woman facing several charges, then this one on August 4th. The roadwork is part of a larger project to widen Highway 3 from 2 lanes of traffic to 4, 2 in each direction. And Kingsville Deputy Mayor Kimberly DeYoung says the temporary configuration is creating other points of confusion.
The way the road's blocked is intended to allow construction traffic, so it's really not blocked. And it's confusing when you're turning that, oh, don't follow the work truck in front of you down the closed lane. And people have done U-turns in the middle of that intersection.
It's been about a month since Division Road reopened to through traffic crossing Highway 3, bringing more vehicles through this intersection while construction is underway and adding to the problem.
A lot of people are trying to rush to get to work every morning and rush home from work.
DeYoung says the MTO has acknowledged her concerns about the area and is now taking a closer look.
I think they're going to review the whole stretch because there are several intersections that are currently under construction, and Division and Highway 3 might be the busiest, but it's certainly not the only one without some confusing markers.
Sanjay Maru, CTV News.
Disappointment and sadness for members of a local legion. A veteran's beret and cap badge was stolen from inside Branch 255. Members believe it was taken from a mannequin in the pool room several days ago. The items were donated by a veteran's family, and they obviously hold special meaning to them and the Legion members. They say the beret and badge represent a veteran's sacrifice, service, and a connection to the past. Whoever took the items, Legion officials simply ask you return them. No questions asked.
We're not looking to get anybody into trouble. Basically, we're just, we want to do this the easy way. Bring it in, no questions will be asked. We just want our history back, and we want the gentleman to have his uniform so we can remember him since he passed away in 2000.
Just, being a Patricia, it hurts that somebody would even think of doing something like that. Not just for the Patricias, but for any other regiment in the military.
The Windsor community gathered in downtown Windsor today to mark Canada's historic recognition of the State of Palestine. It was a celebration of Palestinian heritage, culture, and history at Charles Clark Square. The ceremony included the raising of the Palestinian flag along the Canadian flag and highlighted Palestinian folklore, cultural presentations, and the stories that connect residents to their heritage. Canada officially recognized the state of Palestine on September 21st, 2025.
This is the first step. I just want to say that we as humans of this earth, we should never be selective to when to call it the wrong. Wrong is wrong no matter who's doing it, and we should always speak against the wrong no matter who's doing it and who it's committed to. This is the true change that we're seeking, where people are not looking at others with fear of difference. We're not meant to be close to one another. We're supposed to be admiring our differences the way we are with one another.
The University of Windsor is embarking on research to find out if Aedes albopictus lives in the region. What's that? Here's CTV's Chris Campbell with the answer.
Mosquitoes may be a summer nuisance, but for researchers, they're a potential source of important information. The University of Windsor is asking those in Windsor, Essex, to help collect the bodies of dead mosquitoes this summer. The less squished, the better. They have a particular interest in the invasive tiger mosquito.
So they want to know how common they are in our area, if their population is increasing, and they're trying to track where it might be found in our area.
The tiger mosquito has been found in Windsor, Essex for about a decade, and while it can be difficult to identify just by looking at one, researchers have several ways of figuring out what species they've caught. For anyone outside this summer, the mosquitoes are already getting plenty of attention.
I started down that path and I said, nope.
This cyclist from Bell River says she wasn't familiar with this kind of citizen science project, but likes the idea of the public helping out.
That's excellent because you get a good sample that way, you know, and the university does a lot of good work here.
It'll give us something else to look for. We're doing a scavenger hunt, and now we can look for this mosquito.
And there's a public health reason researchers want to keep an eye on the tiger mosquito.
The Asian tiger mosquito, which is also known as the Aedes albopictus, has been documented in our region since 2016. And is considered an invasive species of public health interest.
The health unit says the mosquito is known to carry several diseases, but so far none of the mosquitoes collected locally have tested positive. Michelle Bondi stresses the goal is to better understand the local mosquito population, whether or not the tiger mosquito is found.
Even if we don't find tiger mosquitoes in our sampling effort this year, that's a good thing because we don't really want tiger mosquitoes in our area.
Residents who want to help can get a collection kit from the university or talk to the researchers about using their own mosquito traps, and they're hoping you'll freeze whatever you catch.
I mean, it's weird to hope for more rain and more mosquitoes, but if they're out there, we just want to collect them, that's all.
Chris Campbell, CTV News.
The health unit has once again closed Lakeshore Lakeview Park West Beach for the weekend. WeChew says weekly testing on August 5th shows E. coli counts higher than 1,000. As well, warning signs have been posted and swimming is not recommended at Colchester Beach, as the E. coli counts there are approaching 700. Water samples at the other 5 beaches have been given the all clear. Open beaches will likely be busy this weekend. It's going to be hot and humid. CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald has your full weekend weather details coming up in 2 minutes' time. Then later in our newscast, the subject of a new documentary is now a new exhibit opening this weekend. Stay with us. CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald joins me now with our weekend weather forecast, and it's a big weekend on deck for my son. He's got his baseball wrap-up tournament. I really hope the weather cooperates.
Well, good luck to your son. I think the morning games look better. The afternoon, not so much. Both Saturday and Sunday will be warm and above seasonal, just like today. There were a few scattered showers as well. And that heat and humidity, 30 degrees today, felt like about 36. We'll see that again tomorrow. Might even feel like 37 the afternoon. The atmosphere starts to percolate. Speaking of percolation, take a look at the showers and thunderstorms working through the northeastern seaboard of the U.S. That kind of formation could be headed our way tonight, late, just before midnight, and then again tomorrow in the afternoon. Atmospheric elements, the ingredients are all there, right? Lift, energy potential, and of course, areas of low pressure being supported with jet stream influence coming from the west-southwest. Scattered showers. We saw it today. Some areas didn't see much of anything. Some people actually enjoyed a great golf day across southern Ontario. Some, not so much. And I think that is the story for tomorrow. I think the worst weather will be lying a little bit further east of Chatham-Kent along the 401. Overnight temperatures are warm across the board. 22 is the lowest point, feeling like 30 before dawn tomorrow morning. Here's the breakdown. I'm calling for potential showers. The probability's at 40%, so it's not extremely high, but it's there. Keep the umbrellas nearby. It will be a warm, sultry day, high UV rated at 9 tomorrow, so protect your eyes, sunglasses, of course, sunblock, protect your skin, exposed skin, of course, at all times throughout the year. It doesn't matter. Summer, spring, fall, winter. Sunny on Sunday, 30 degrees, feels like 36 to 38 between Windsor, Essex, Chatham-Kent. If there's baseball on Sunday, it looks like it'll be a better day. Just stay hydrated. And speaking of hydration, lots of water and the potential precipitation in the atmosphere. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it will be cloudy. And a good chance, in particular, Monday, Tuesday. Note the temperature trend, though. 29, 27, 27, 26, 24. We're cooling off. A hint of what's to come potentially as we head deeper into the final full month of summer. Let's look at your weather.
New details are emerging tonight out of Washington about what Canada is willing to negotiate to ink a new trade agreement. It includes lowering steel tariffs in exchange for concessions on booze and milk. CTV's Judy Trin gets us up to date.
After 90 minutes of intense trade talks in Washington between top Canadian and American officials, some details are emerging about what cards Canada is willing to play.
This is about concessions, if there's to be concessions on both sides. It can't be a one-way street, which is what the American position has been up until now.
Industry sources tell CTV News that Canada is willing to drop counter tariffs on autos and convince the provinces to put American alcohol back on shelves if the U.S. agrees to reduce steep tariffs on key sectors such as forestry, autos, steel, and aluminum.
Well, I think we all heard Doug Ford a few weeks ago in D.C. in a scrum say, look, I understand the impact and the power of this booze ban, and I will reverse it if we get peace on the CUSMA and the full trade war.
After meeting with the U.S. Trade Representative, Minister Dominic LeBlanc says the focus is on striking a comprehensive deal that addresses all the sectoral tariffs.
Je crois en la gestion de l'offre, c'est important.
While the Prime Minister continues to defend supply management, negotiators have discussed changing how dairy quotas are managed.
Canada's nasty.
If that's not enough to prevent the Trump administration from bringing in new 50% tariffs that will hit $28 billion of Canadian goods like hockey equipment, sources say the federal government is working on retaliatory measures, such as blocking the U.S. from getting preferential access to critical minerals, energy, and big procurement projects.
Canada is going in a position of strength. We were able to start restructuring our economy to start building a new Canada over the past year. We see the numbers coming out. It's working.
Other than negotiating with the Americans, the provinces will also have to be convinced to come on side. We're just hearing from Quebec's premier that province won't put U.S. booze back on the shelves unless they get a deal that's fair to Quebec. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump is pushing back against reports that America's munitions stockpile is running low.
We're in very good shape. We have literally massive amounts of ammunition.
U.S. media outlets are reporting that Trump has been complaining that reports of a dwindling supply of missiles make the U.S. appear weak in negotiations with Iran. Republican members of a U.S. Senate committee have voted to hold America's former top doctor Anthony Fauci in contempt of Congress for declining to answer questions about his own guidance during the COVID-19 pandemic.
We are voting on whether a witness who has received the benefit of a sweeping federal pardon can be ordered by this committee to answer questions.
Fauci invoked the Fifth Amendment to avoid self-incrimination more than 100 times in a hearing last week over concerns his responses could be used by Republicans to bring charges against him. But members say the doctor has an obligation to answer because he's already protected by a pre-exemptive pardon from former President Joe Biden. Ultimately, it will be up to the Justice Department to decide whether or not to charge Fauci. Back here at home, there's going to be another federal by-election in Ontario. That's because a new MP will be needed in the riding of Brantford-Brant South after Conservative Larry Brock announced he is leaving the House of Commons. Brock is taking a position at the Crown Attorney's office in Brantford. He says he will step down on September 18th. The Prime Minister has to call a by-election between 11 and 180 days after a seat becomes vacant. There will now be 8 by-elections between August 31st and mid-April. As the price of gas continues to fluctuate, the clock is ticking on a federal measure to ease the pain at the pumps. Ottawa suspended its fuel excise tax back in the spring. That temporarily removed 10 cents per litre on regular gas and 4 cents per litre on diesel. But that's set to expire September 7th. Today, Premier Doug Ford wrote to Prime Minister Mark Carney, urging him to extend the suspension. Ontario made its own gas tax removal permanent last year. In Toronto, the TSX gained 245 points, while in New York, the Dow added 152. The Nasdaq is up 342. The Canadian dollar gained a third of a cent today, and on commodity markets, gold added $100 an ounce, and oil is up 89 cents a barrel.
Start your day with the latest local news. By signing up for our newsletter, you'll get direct local content straight from CTV Windsor to your inbox, including top stories, the forecast, and videos. You can sign up at ctvnewswindsor.ca. In Kingsville, work to demolish the old high school in town is a painstaking process because, as CTV's Robert Lothian will show us, crews are doing what they can to preserve the building's importance to the community.
Phones at Gagno Salvage and Antiques in McGregor have been busy. New stock rolling in from the former Kingsville District High School, bringing back old memories for teachers like Lana Roten-Grondin.
I was so excited I actually cried.
Each year, Roten-Grondin's graduating students sign ceiling tiles, and now she owns some of them.
One in particular was my youngest son, who graduated in 2018. And his name's up there, and it was right above my desk, and it says, "I love you."
Responsible for demolishing the old school, Gagno has been salvaging items along the way and sharing them online.
The one day my son found that Du Maurier pack of cigarettes behind a locker, and it generated, I don't know, over 1,500 comments on just a little pack of cigarettes.
Interest was piqued. From old pop cans to used lockers and sports equipment, people want a piece of a long staple in the Kingsville community.
It's nice to be able to maybe allow them to have some part of their history that they've lost.
Some finds hold more history than others.
Okay, well, here you go. Here are the blueprints to the building.
Former student Chris Parent getting his hands on the original plans for the school's 1964 addition.
I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but I thought it would be really neat to have and put in a corner somewhere and maybe grab a couple of the pages and put them on the wall somewhere.
The property was purchased from the Public School Board earlier this year. Tearing down decades-old buildings, though, often doesn't result in efforts to save what's left behind.
We had a crew in here, probably about 8 people, salvaging various items that we know through history.
With history saved, the focus turns to demolition. Crews will separate items from the debris, making sure the impact on the landfill is minimal.
The majority of the demo within the next month or so will probably, bulk of it will get done, and then it'll be, processing the concrete and all the floors and the footings, and that'll be, kind of another month or so doing that process.
In the meantime, Broughton Grondin heads home with some new artwork for her planting shed.
So that I could, again, sit there and do some things and look at them just like I did when I was on in my classroom.
Robert Lothian, CTV News.
The CRTC is closely following a new decision in France, one which bans unsolicited telemarketing calls. CTV's Stephanie Mazzotti explains.
I don't think there's too many people who enjoy unsolicited telephone calls at all hours of the day.
University of Windsor law professor Muharrem Kenneth says an unsolicited telemarketing ban in France is a step in the right direction, but long overdue. And those we spoke to agree.
It's very frustrating.
It's a waste of time. I get them so often that I never know if it's going to be a real phone call or not. And it happens so often that I just get frustrated.
And it should be banned. It's a way for making sure that consumers have more power over who contacts them and under what circumstances.
Under this law, individuals who make illegal calls can be fined up to 75,000 euros or more than $121,000 Canadian per call. Companies can face fines of up to 375,000 euros or more than $606,000 Canadian per call. There are exceptions. Consumers may consent to receive marketing calls, for example, by checking a consent box on a form or if they have a prior relationship with the company. But Kianis says that won't stop every unsolicited call.
If that call is taking place in a jurisdiction where the European Union can't go after that person, well, the argument is pretty much academic at that point.
If you live in Canada, you can reduce the number of telemarketing calls you receive by registering your number on the National Do Not Call list managed by the CRTC.
I think it was successful initially. The way that people have gotten around our Do Not Call registry is essentially to move their call centers offshore.
In a statement sent to CTV News, the CRTC considers multiple approaches to reducing unsolicited communications to Canadians, including compliance and policy measures. It goes on to say they are following the initiative in France with great interest. Kiev predicts Canada will follow with a similar ban.
If we want to do business with something like the European Union, then we're going to have rules and regulations that very closely mirror what they have.
Stephanie Mazzotti, CTV News.
This takes us to the question of the day. Do you think Canada should ban unsolicited telemarketing calls? Go to our website to cast your vote, ctvnewswindsor.ca. Employees at Nexstar Energy have ratified a new 3-year collective agreement, one the union is calling well-deserved. Unifor Local 444 represents 800 workers at the battery plant and says the deal has significant gains across the board, including wage increases, accelerated wage progression, increased benefits, and productivity or signing bonuses. The deal also includes improved pension contributions and workplace and language improvements. StatsCan is out with the July labor force report, and it shows a much bigger increase in employment than economists had expected. The agency says 75,000 jobs were added nationwide last month. Economists in a Reuters poll had predicted the figure would be closer to 15,000. The growth was split between full and part-time work, with Ontario leading the charge with 52,000 jobs added. The unemployment rate is also down to 6.4%, its lowest level in 2 years.
Discussion here at Windsor City Hall.
Windsor's top stories.
A major project is about to get underway.
Breaking news alerts.
Severe weather is a possibility.
And watch live.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us.
Download the CTV News app.
We've told you here about a new documentary being produced about the 1957 explosion in Dresden. On August 14, 1957, 6 Dutch immigrants died when the pit they were excavating caved in Dresden. At the time, it was Ontario's worst workplace incident. Now it's the subject of a new exhibit called Tragedy Forgotten. It will be officially launched on Sunday afternoon at 3 o'clock at Turns and Tales in Chatham. The exhibit features historic photographs and documents, artifacts uncovered during research, and video interviews with family members of the victims and even eyewitnesses. The exhibit will remain open until August 16th. And let's take one last look at the weather. Here's CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald.
Michelle, I think tomorrow afternoon is when we'll see the active weather. It could be very light and not drawn out. So that's the good part of this story of rain coming for the afternoon. A hot day. 30 is already 3 degrees above seasonal at this juncture. And we're looking at a humidex value of 37. Stay hydrated, use that sunscreen, wear your sunglasses outside. Protect your pets. Keep them hydrated and cool in the shade if they're outdoors, and don't extend those walks too long. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, cloudy and showers possible to start the week off, and then cooling off in fairer weather as we head towards the end of next week. Do you see it? You got it? I'm going to step back in here. There we are. Wherever you are, enjoy your weather. Have a good weekend. Good night.
Thousands will make their way to Erie Street this weekend for the 40th St. Angela Marici Festival. A busy day of preparation around St. Angela's Church today. The opening ceremony will begin at 6 p.m. on Saturday with a silent auction, vendors, live performances, and of course, Italian food. And on Sunday, starting at noon, a street soccer tournament, followed by family fun activities and a candlelight procession at 7:30. Regardless of your nationality, the festival's co-chair says all are welcome.
Creating the festival back in 1987 and seeing it continue for 40 years brings a lot of warmth to all of us, to the Italian community and the whole community at large. This is Erie Street. It's Via Italia. It's a street for everybody to come and enjoy.
Also on deck this weekend, the 167th annual Cobburn Fair returns. Amherstburg Open Air Weekends are hosting Farm Fest, and Pride Fest wraps up with the parade on Sunday. Well, on behalf of everyone here at CTV News Windsor on both sides of the camera, thank you for supporting local news. For updates throughout the weekend, go to ctvnewswindsor.ca. We'll see you right back here on Monday at 6. Have a great weekend.